Okay, it's all yours.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, well, thank you everyone for having me here today. For those of you that have not met me, my name is Laura Peterson. I am the COO for Real Estate Risk Management. We provide your legal services. We provide the legal services for you as the brokers and agents, as well as we provide the legal services for your buyers and sellers. The whole point behind this meeting today is to let you know what benefits are there for me. What does RERM do for me and my business? So I want to make sure that we answer your questions. We are going to be doing this as a monthly meeting, kind of a Q&A, that kind of thing. And then we'll also be entering our contact information and other information to allow you to reach out to us if you have an immediate request. So I want to make sure that, first of all, has Brandon, I'm going to use you as my example because you talked first. So and don't worry, Rosie, I'm going to be reaching out to you as well. Brandon, have you registered for the RERM portal?
Yes.
Great. How about you, Rosie? Have you registered for the portal?
No, I haven't, but I guess I have to.
You're going to have to. Okay. So RERM has created a client portal. And what that client portal does for you is it allows you to use your devices, your phone, your tablet, your desktop to make your legal requests. Using the portal makes RERM services 50% faster. So I'm highly recommending you use the portal. It's not a mandate, it's a recommendation. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, well, I like to fill out the forms. Okay, well, if you like to fill out the forms, you can do that too, but the portal just makes the legal request faster. So let me share my screen here and what, here we go. Okay. Share, here we go. Okay, everybody see that okay?
Yep, we see it.
Awesome. Okay. And sorry, I'm a California original girl, so I say awesome a lot. But anyway, okay, so let's get started. So what we're going to talk about first, or we're going to talk about your benefits as the brokers and agents. And then we're going to talk about the benefits for the buyers and sellers. If you have a question, I want you to definitely say, hey, I have a question. Unmute yourself, use the chat, because I want to be able to know that I am answering your questions and you're getting everything answered for you. Okay, so this is definitely something, this is interactive. This is not just me talking. All right. And if you're in a group, that's okay. Just say, hey, I have a question. All right, so let's get started. Just a little bit of history about RERM. RERM has been established since 1987. It was founded by my parents who had lost everything due to litigation in real estate, which is why they created Real Estate Risk Management. I am the COO of the corporation. They are mostly retired. I work hard so they don't have to. What they instilled in me was the fact that there are better ways to resolve litigation cases than just going to court. In California, agents call me all the time and say, hey, can I get sued for blah, blah, blah? Yes, anyone can get sued for any reason. You don't even have to have a reason, okay? Somebody can sue you and you have to respond back to that. That's what makes real estate one of the most litigious businesses in California, as well as in other states, because now real estate agents or buyers and sellers and real estate agents are moving to different states and they are taking their legal habits with them. Currently we're in California, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, Hawaii, and Texas. It is my goal to take the company nationwide in the next 7 years, because I know that we have the solution for legal problems in the industry. So let's talk about your benefits as the brokers and agents, and then we're going to talk about the benefits for your buyers and sellers. So first, your benefits. I want you to think of real estate risk management as kind of your healthcare. So if you have a little scratchy throat, cough, and it doesn't go away after a couple of days, you reach out to the doctor and you say, hey, I'm sick, I've got this cough, I've got this cold. I want to be seen because I want to make sure, one, I don't have COVID, number two, I don't go into pneumonia, that kind of thing. Think of real estate risk management as the same. We are here for prevention. We are not your E&O carrier. The attorneys are not your E&O carrier. We are here to protect your E&O. So by contacting us, that is not going to trigger your E&O automatically. That has to be a decision by you and the brokerage. You can talk to our attorneys. The attorneys are going to be there to talk to you about your transactional legal questions. So instead of going to CAR, or your own private attorney, you can utilize our attorneys. You can also talk to them about any threat. Now, a threat does not necessarily mean a letter from an attorney. It can mean a lot of different things. It can be verbally, it can be a text message from a client. Anytime that you are threatened, we want to know about it, because if we are brought in the first 10 days of a threat of suit, we have a 99% success rate of stopping that threat of suit from becoming a lawsuit. So that's huge, because in real estate, every time you turn something over to your E&O carrier, your rates are going to increase, just like your home insurance. Everybody knows it's getting harder and harder to have home insurance. Same thing with E&O. So we want to protect that. So the attorneys are going to be there to advise you, write response letters. They're going to be there to assist you with commission collection matters. If you have a buyer or seller that tries to cut you out of the deal, our attorneys are going to be there to help pursue that. They're there for small claims court legal defense. But the most important key is that we are brought in those first 10 days of that threat of suit. That is where we have that 99% success rate. We are also there to handle mediation defense. I am a certified mediator, but I'm here to tell you that if you go into a mediation without an attorney, most likely you're going to write a check. All right. Because mediators are taught, hey, everybody that shows up, get a piece of the pie from them just to make it go away. I've had agents call me and say, I wish I wouldn't have gone to that mediation. I wrote a check for $1,500 and they did nothing wrong. If you've done nothing wrong, why should you pay? That's our philosophy here at RERM, which is why we always want you to have legal representation. We're also there to handle any, if you get a lawsuit or an arbitration and it triggers your E&O, we are here to cover the legal fees and the court costs up to the deductible. So you are not out of pocket up to that $10,000 for those legal fees and court costs. Okay, I'm going to answer a question from Rosie right now. Your services include 30-minute free consultation per legal subject for our clients. Is there a limited amount of legal subjects? Great question. Okay, Rosie, I'm going to answer that question in just a few minutes when we get down to your buyer-seller benefits. But yes, there are some limits, but there is a wide variety of services available to that.
Thanks.
No problem. Okay. Professional protection. Anytime you are contacted by a government agency, what do I mean by a government agency? That can be the DRE, that can be the IRS, Department of Labor, an association or board. Anytime you get a complaint like that, you need to go to the broker management team, let them know what's going on. Let us get you assigned over to an attorney. All right. You don't want to walk into these situations by yourself. I have agents that receive phone calls from the DRE. It's an investigator saying, I want to talk to you about 1234 Main Street. And as anyone will tell you, if they're calling you about a transaction and they're from the DRE, they're not calling to say, congratulations, you've done a good job. Why they are calling you is because someone has made a complaint against you and they are investigating you. I look at the DRE and the IRS basically as the same. They are the police, all right? So you definitely want to have that attorney representation there for you to handle that. Let them respond to it. If they call you by phone, the only thing I want you to say to them is, thank you so much for calling me. Can I get your name and your phone number? And myself and my broker of record will be returning your call. contact the broker management team. The broker management team is going to involve us, and we are going to activate an attorney who is going to respond on your behalf. Do not respond on your own. Do not think that you can answer questions if they send you basically send us just a brief statement in regards to this situation. Do not answer that on your own. Always make sure that we are having the attorneys answer that. There is no cap to this. You could have 10 complaints in 1 year. I would hope you wouldn't, but if you did, you would have at least 100 hours of legal defense there for you. So don't be afraid to use us. A lot of people think, well, if I use RERM, my rates are going to be increased, that kind of thing. They're not, all right? That's why we're here. Okay, are there any questions so far? I want to open the mic to anyone that might have any questions.
I do have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, someone makes a complaint against another agent and you are the facilitator, you help, and the case is dismissed because it's a bogus case. What recall as an agent you have against that agent that made that bogus, complaint?
Okay, so we do not get involved in broker to broker, agent to agent disputes. Real estate risk management is legal defense services only. So we always ask that the broker management teams become involved, and they are the ones responding to those types of situations. Because sometimes if it is, let's say you get a threatening email from another agent, the buyer's agent, and you're representing the seller, that kind of thing, okay? So you're gonna go to your broker management team and tell them, hey, this is what's going on. What should we do? All right. A lot of times brokers can communicate with the other side's broker and resolve the situation so it does not blow up into that formal complaint.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? No. Okay. All right. Let's move on. So let's talk about your personal benefits. You are all lifetime members of RERM. What does that mean? RERM, being a lifetime member of our services, is here to provide you with a personal attorney for any type of legal matter that we can cover. Now, that could be something nice. You want to set up a family trust. You want to incorporate. I actually had a broker contact me and say, I need a criminal defense attorney because my son was in a fight and they're now pressing criminal charges. Anytime that you have a personal legal request, make sure you reach out to us. We will assign you over to one of our attorneys. We'll get you a document review and a consultation at no charge. And if you want to retain that attorney after the initial consultation, you can do so at the preferred rate quoted by the attorney. Now, our attorneys charge anywhere from $250 an hour to $850 an hour. It just depends on the type of attorney and the type of law. The attorneys are also there to cover you if you have a motor vehicle violation. If you can't drive, you can't sell real estate. We all understand that. So we want to make sure if your license could be suspended or revoked, that you have legal representation. That does include first DUI, first offense only, all right? So we want to make sure that if you are out there having a few cocktails on a Friday night, that you're getting home safely. Please do not drink and drive. Call Uber, call Lyft, call Kim. Call anybody just so you can get home safe, get on a taxi, whatever it might be, because your personal actions can have effects on your professional licenses. Don't think that they won't, all right? It used to be years ago when I first started that it took the DRE 6 months to catch up with people. Now the computers talk to each other. So DMV talks to DRE and their computers link. So they find out really, really fast about what's going on. So please make sure that if you do have a motor vehicle violation, you're talking with the broker management team so we can get you those benefits. If the IRS has come in and audited you, we are here if you want to appeal their decision, we are here to help you with that. We can pay your CPA or you can use one of our tax attorneys for up to 10 hours. And then also if you sell a house in which you have a vested interest where most E&O policies will exclude that, RERM does not exclude that. We will include that in our coverage. Okay, any questions in regards to your benefits before we move on to the benefits for your buyers and sellers?
I did want to, this is Frederick, I did have a question. Because California is a state for foreclosure overages, if we're approaching a person got their property closed on and there's an overage, California doesn't allow us to directly contact them. They say that we have to reach an attorney. Does your attorneys do that for us if we're going after them to give them their overages?
That could be that would start with a consultation with one of our attorneys to find out what your legal rights are. Please remember, the law changes every 6 months. As I said in the beginning of this, tomorrow we're going to be having the meeting with Renat in regards to the new forms. Do not be surprised that by January 1st, the new forms are changed. The laws are changed. Just because something was a law 2 years ago does not mean it's a law today. So I always want you to start with that initial consultation to find out what your legal rights are for yourself and the brokerage. And that's why we never charge for those initial consultations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
How do we get the RERM portal? So I was looking at my
We're going to
email,
go
but I
over
didn't see
that
it.
in just a moment. We are.
Okay.
I'm going to actually, I have Shrija, who is our Senior Vice President of IT on this call with us today. And she's a wealth of information. And so she and I are going to show you exactly what to do when it comes to the portal. Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on to your buyer seller benefits. All right. So when working with a buyer or seller, I tell agents all the time, don't work for free. All right. Especially now, if you're going to work with a buyer, you have to engage them in a buyer broker agreement. You can utilize RERM's services as a reason for them to engage you in that representation agreement. Because once they have engaged you, basically they get their transactional non-dispute legal questions answered before, during, or after the close of escrow. What are those legal questions? Legal questions can be, how do I take title, 1031 exchange? Will this affect my taxes? How do I disclose that there was once a dead body buried in the backyard for 6 months and now I want to sell the house? Do I have to disclose that? It could be an eviction issue. Every town, city, county has different rules when it comes to eviction. I tell the agents all the time, don't answer those questions. Let the attorney in that area answer those questions. So when you're meeting with your client and you're telling them all the wonderful things you're going to do to help them buy and sell the American dream, you can also tell them, we provide you with a legal service. Now we are going to give you the marketing templates. Here's an example of them here that explains all of that to them. So it explains that, you know, once they've engaged you, they get access to this service. The other side, and like I said, it's the transactional non-dispute legal questions. This is not a service. Let's say you're representing a buyer and the seller has decided to cancel the transaction for whatever reason, and the buyer wants to sue the seller. The attorneys for the buyers and sellers do not take litigation cases. These are my bookworms. These are the attorneys that only read the law. So please keep that in mind when talking to your clients. And if you don't know the answer to the question, like, can I sue, that kind of thing, let us have them have the attorney talk to the buyer or seller. So that way they're getting their answers. Does the service applies if a buyer has signed the buyer agreement, exclusive and non-exclusive agreement with the agents? As long as you have engaged the client in a representation agreement, that can be a buyer seller or buyer broker agreement, agency disclosure, listing agreement, or purchase agreement. Once they've engaged you, they have access to this service. Okay. They're going to get up to a half an hour of telephone consultation. They're going to get up to 16 pages of document review, and they're also going to receive, if they want to engage that attorney, let's say they want to set up a trust before the close of escrow, they can utilize one of our attorneys to set up that trust, and they're going to receive a discounted rate of up to 25% off the attorney's normal hourly rates just by being a referral of RERM. Does the agreement have to be a CAR form? Brandon, good question. If your brokerage has approved, and I mean the brokerage, the office themselves has approved a form as a representation agreement, we will accept that. All right. But this is not just your own personal addendum, that kind of thing. We always want to make sure that you are following the rules, and any type of engagement agreement has been approved by the brokerage. Okay. As I said, all we're going to need is a copy of that representation agreement. We have a form that we want the buyers and sellers to fill out, and then we can make arrangements for those consultations. We're also there to handle mediation disputes mediation for deposit disputes. So you have a buyer and a seller who have canceled the deal and they want to fight over the money in escrow. As you know, there is CAR mediation, or there's other mediation services. CAR mediation, I'm just going to use them as an example today. They require a $500 non-refundable deposit. All right. That means just to open the case, it costs your client $500. With RERM, we have our team of in-house mediators that are there to work out the situation between the buyer and the seller over that money that is being held in escrow. There is no additional costs or fees to your client or to yourself for using this service. It's all part of the plan. Our fees can only be paid at the successful close of escrow. So it's a really big incentive for a buyer or a seller to work directly with you, because not everyone has RERM. So it's a great marketing plan for you. And that's what this screen is about, basically talking about the reasonable fee paid at the successful close of escrow. After the close of escrow, our office is going to issue a certificate of benefits. The certificate of benefits explains to your client all the services that they are going to receive, the transactional legal advice, as well as they are going to be receiving lifetime mediation services for any problem affecting that property. That could be a non-disclosed issue by the seller or a third-party contractor, neighbor, city, county, HOA, barking dog next door. It does not matter. If the lifetime of that transaction, they are going to receive our team of certified mediators that are there to help resolve the situations. Now, some of our mediations are open for a day, others are open for a year. It just depends on the matter. Our mediators are not attorneys. They're not there to take sides. They're not there to pour gasoline on the situation and make it worse. They're there as peacemakers. But if everyone is willing to work with us, we have a 96% success rate of resolving these disputes without them turning into litigation. So it's really a big benefit to work with you. For your sellers, let's talk about that. You know, the sellers, they move out of the house 2 years later, 3 years later, 5 years later, they get a threatening letter from the buyer. They can ask to utilize our services, and we can step in as long as everyone agrees and mediate that dispute. Are there any questions?
Yes, I do have
Yes.
2 questions. Okay, first of all, how long the services will be provided for our clients when close of escrow? And what is the percentage of the clients using your services after the close of escrow transaction is closed?
I'm sorry. Are you asking how many of your transactions go to mediation?
No. How long the services are available to the clients once they close escrow?
For the lifetime of the transaction.
Okay. And what is the percentage of people using your services after they close escrow? Is a high percentage?
It's probably generally, I mean, we open a lot of cases every day. I'm going to say on the average of about 30 cases every day. And they vary between agent's requests and buyer-seller requests. I'm going to say about 65% of disputes after the close of escrow come over to us. If the agents are reminding their clients they have our services. We have definitely talked to buyers and sellers that said, well, I forgot I had your services. And now I had to pay CAR to go to mediation, and now I have to go to arbitration and that kind of thing. And it's all money out of my pocket. And I didn't realize. So one of the things that I tell the agents to do, and when I show you the portal in just a moment, is in December, download your real estate transaction certificates, send those over to your clients, remind them, Happy New Year. Please remember, I know things get lost during a move. Please remember that you have access to this service. It's a nice marketing touch that keeps you in connection with them. And when they're talking to their friends and their friends are saying, well, my real estate agent does this and this, and your client says, well, my real estate agent provides me with a legal service. Does yours do that? Well, no, I want your agent's information. It's a great way to get a referral.
So just to be clear, so when they sell the house and let's say that they use another broker, then that's will be the end of the services.
Yes, and if they call us, we've actually had buyers call us and say, okay, I've utilized your services and we're selling the house, but now my son is a real estate agent. I want to use my son, but he doesn't have your services. How do I pay for your services? What our response is, we're sorry, the services are exclusively through our real estate brokers and agents. So if you want to continue having our services, you are going to have to go back and engage your real estate agent.
Good.
So we remind them why it's important to work with you. Any other questions? Okay, if the seller has committed to prior to the changes moving forward, the seller is requesting, does the BO indicate a form of compensation is okay? Left blank buyer. Okay. Lillian, I want you to be at the meeting tomorrow. What I'm going to do right now is I am copying your question because I'm not an attorney. All right, so I'm not here to answer your legal questions. That's why we have such a huge group of attorneys. So I want to make sure that you get your questions answered. So I'm going to be asking Renat, who is going to be conducting the meeting tomorrow, to be talking about this in regards to what happens if you're opening an escrow and it's already there and the changes that are required. Other questions? No? Okay, all right. If we cannot resolve the situation for your client, we're going to advise them on the best way to do that, whether that be small claims court or other alternative dispute resolution services. So let's recap here real quick before we move on to the portal. The transactional legal advice for you is unlimited, all right? The legal advice for your buyers and sellers, transactional non-dispute legal questions, unlimited questions, one consult per subject matter. All right, that's really important. These consults, as I said, these are a huge value to your client. They can be $350. If it's water rights, that's an $850 consultation. All right, that's a huge value to your client. This is not a time for your client to be stuck on the 405 with their kids screaming in the back of the car, talking to the attorney. This is a time for them to be sitting down and writing down the answers that the attorney gives them. Because if they call us back and say, well, I need to talk to the attorney about that same subject, they can do so, but they are going to have to retain the attorney at the preferred rate in order to get the answer. Okay. All right. let's see, Cece, I will be emailing out the recordings tomorrow afternoon. How do we get the recording? Oh, sorry, okay. All right, yes, the meeting will be recorded and you will all be getting a copy of it. Okay? Then also the one-time fee paid at the close of escrow, that covers you, that covers the brokerage, that covers your buyer or the seller. If you have a dual agency where you're representing both the buyer and the seller, yes, the fee needs to be paid on both sides. To initiate services, you can use the portal, you can call the 800 number. I promise when you talk to us during normal business hours that you're going to talk to someone that understands that you're not calling us because you're having a great day. We understand that you're having a legal issue. So we want to make sure that we are there to address that. Now, Eileen, you put there, if a client is not satisfied with the attorney they are matched with for a free consultation, can you request it? Yes, you can. You can get a secondary consultation. Attorneys are like anyone else. They have personalities. You know, some people get along with other people better. If your client is not satisfied, or if you are not satisfied with the attorney, please let us know that, because we don't want to send you back to that attorney. We don't want to send your client back to that attorney. We want to make sure that you're working with someone you are comfortable with and someone that you feel is answering the questions adequately according to what you are looking for. Now, can the attorneys change the law in your favor? No, they cannot. I'm just telling you that up front, because a lot of times people think, well, how can you bend the law to make it be in my favor? All right. That's not what the attorneys are there for. The law is the law. So, all right. Any other questions before we move on to the portal? No? All right. All right. So my office is going to be sending everyone a new link for the portal. All right. If you've already registered, ignore it. You don't need to register again. If you haven't registered and you received the email, make sure you register within 24 hours. This portal is for your use only. It is not for your clients. Do not give your clients your username and password. You wouldn't give them your banking information. You're not going to give them this information. This is exclusively for you to use, not your clients. All right. So here's the code that you can screenshot, and then it takes you right to the portal. We also have apps in Apple and Android that are there. So when you're meeting with your client or you have a legal question and you're at lunch, you can grab your phone. Just, okay, instead of filling out those forms, that was the biggest hurdle that we needed to get over, was those forms. So that is why we have the portal here for your use. So please make sure you're registering with it. If you don't get the email, please check your spam. That's really important as well, because depending on how high your firewalls are, it might go to your spam account. Here's all of our contact information in regards to the Legal Service Center, the website for RERM, which is your benefits, the buyer and seller website. That information, your buyers and sellers have a standalone website, different than yours. And then, of course, here's all of our contact information, email address, and all of that. So before I move into the portal, does anyone have any questions?
I do have another
Yes.
question. So on the portal, it tells you email and password. That's something that you will create, because it doesn't allow you to create.
You create the password, your own identifier password.
Okay.
Other questions? No? Okay. All right, so now I'm going to stop my screen share, and I am going to, give me just one moment here. Why is that not working correctly? Hold on here 1 second. Okay. Kim, can you help me here for a second? I'm not able to stop my screen share. I need to switch over to something else.
Sure, hold on 1 second. Let me-
Thank you.
Okay, now you're not sharing any longer.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up the portal here. And then we're gonna go over that, so you see all the uses of it. So give me just one moment, and I'm gonna get signed in here, and then I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, everybody see my screen okay?
Yep, we see
Yes.
it.
Fantastic. Okay, so once you've created your username and your password, you're gonna go into RERM.com, and this is what you are going to see. And you'll see this on your phone, your tablet, your desktop. So let's say you have a new legal request, all right? It's for your client. All right, your client has a transactional non-dispute legal question. Let's say you're representing the buyer or the seller, or the buyer and the seller. Do you have a representation agreement? If you hit no, guess what? I'll come back when I have the agreement. Again, this is a reason for that buyer or seller to engage you. But if you hit yes, you're going to fill out this form pretty quick. You hit next. It is going to download a form for your client. You are going to send that form to your client. All right. We want the form to come from you because Rosie, your client does not know who RERM is. All right. They're going to, I mean, we all get thousands of junk spam emails every day. We don't open them. We want to make sure that they know that this is coming from you. And you are saying, okay, you wanted to get the consultation on how to set up the trust to hold the property. Here's the form, please complete it, send it back in, then we make arrangements for that consultation. Again, one consult per subject matter, but unlimited subjects. All right. Now, if you have a legal request, myself, let's say you have a transactional legal question. So instead of going to CAR, you want to talk to an attorney. Pretty basic information. Who do you represent? Property information, contact information, buyer seller information. You can upload documents. You hit submit. This goes to the broker management team. When the broker management team receives this, they get an email that says your agent has requested that they want to talk to an attorney. Do you want this to go to an attorney? They have a yes or no button. If they hit yes, you're going to get an email that says this matter has been submitted to the RERM to be assigned to an attorney. If you hit no, you're going to get a message that says your broker management team wants to discuss this with you. Okay. But you will always be in communication. Now, if you want to know the status of your legal cases, you can go here where it says cases and status, and this is basically this will have your information of your legal requests. This is all the cases that you have opened. What's happening with them? Are they inactive? Are they active? What's going on? So you'll be able to see where everything is being handled and how it's being handled. Okay. Now, transactions. As I said earlier, RERM now has the availability, once you register in the portal, that you're going to be able to download your certificates of benefits for your clients to resend out to your clients. You want to know, hey, how many transactions got reported over to RERM? Those kind of things. This is where you'll be able to see that, is here in the transactions area. Also, if you're wondering, hey, what does RERM cover? I can't remember what Laura Peterson told me in that Zoom meeting. You're now able to see all of your benefits available to you in a one-page form. Okay, it goes over all the benefits that we've talked about today, as well as your personal benefits. Then also, last but definitely not least, your customizable marketing templates. Hold on one second. This is not going to like this. I don't know why it doesn't like it, but it just doesn't. So I have to stop the screen share and start it up again. There. We go. Okay, now we go down there. There we go. All right. Here we are, right here. Okay, in the portal, you are going to have access to the marketing templates. The marketing templates, you have ones for buyers, you have ones for sellers. They're in blue and gold. They are in black, blue and white, and black and gold. One's for buyers, one's for sellers. We also have them in Spanish. This explains to your clients when you're meeting with them the services that are being provided by RERM to them. You can customize these, add your picture, add your name, your contact information. These are great for open houses or when you're doing that buyer's presentation and seller's presentation. So just know that those are also available through the portal. Okay, so we have a question for tenants and landlords. Yeah, there should be for leases. Eileen, are you talking about leases? Yes, okay, yes, there are versions for leases and we can make those available to you. Not everyone has lease coverage. Your office does have lease coverage, so we will need to be sending those directly over to you. Okay. Okay. So now I know I've given you guys a lot of information in a very quick period of time, but I want to make sure that you will understand all the benefits that are available to you, to your clients, using the services. If you have problems with the portal, call us. Shrija and sales support is happy to help you in any way that they can. Please make sure that you're getting your questions answered and don't be afraid to call us. That's the biggest thing. Agents tell me all the time, well, I don't want to call you because I feel like I'm going to get my rates increased. You're not, all right? Use us, get those legal questions answered, dot your I's, cross your T's. I like it when agents ask questions because that means they're paying attention and they're just not relying on the law that was 5 years ago. Because the laws have changed. So I've talked a lot, I know. So now I want to open it up to you guys.
Any recent issues that have come up because of the new law? There
I'm
has
sorry,
been any issues that have been come up since last week due to the change of the law? No, we don't have like attorneys coming to lawsuit someone or something like that because they are not doing their job. Not yet, it's too premature.
Yeah, last week is a little soon, but that usually takes about 3 to 4 months. But in other states where Californians have relocated to, there's a 10% uptick in lawsuits in those areas because they're taking their legal habits with them. Any other questions?
I have a question. Do you have attorneys for evictions?
Yes, we do. And we always want your clients to talk to an attorney if it comes to an eviction issue. Always. Do not think you understand the law because there can be a set of rules on one street and another set of rules on another street. Okay? We always want to make sure they're talking to the attorney to get that legal advice. I have had so many cases where the agent gave the advice, and guess what? It was the wrong advice.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, Kim, thank you guys. Thank you ever so much. Is it true they have attorneys out there looking for agents that are not following the new CAR changes looking to sue? Yes. Joanna, real estate agents are the second highest sued industry. Number 1 is medical. All right. There are attorneys out there. I call them bottom feeders. I call them ambulance chasers. I call them do we cheat them in house? They are just looking for a way to make that quick buck. So yes, is there going to be a rush of these attorneys coming after agents that are not following the new changes? Absolutely. Was there a rush of attorneys coming after agents during COVID? Remember the PED forms? Remember, everybody hated those PED forms. I don't understand why I have to use those. I hate those forms. But I understand, but it's the law. If the law is the law, you have to follow it. There's nothing that you can do to get around that. So if they mandate a procedure, please make sure you are following that procedure. Okay, any other questions? Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Listen, everybody, you know, real estate can be very complicated. It can be lots of hills and valleys and all of those kind of things. And our service is here to make it easier for you. So again, please don't be afraid to reach out to us. Use the portal. The portal is going to be your fastest way of getting your legal requests processed. It is actually making it 50% faster by using the portal. So please make sure that you are registering. If you didn't get the registration, reach out to us, let us know, and we'll make sure that we get you set up with that. All right? Okay.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, everybody, next month we are going to be doing real estate horror stories. Yay. This is one of October is my favorite month in real estate because I get to scare everybody and talk about the bad things that there's out there in the real estate industry. So yes, definitely. And Kim is going to be setting up those meetings. Thank you, Kim, for all of your coordination with this. And Melanie, yes, we have tax attorneys for basic questions for your buyers and sellers. They will be able to answer those questions for your clients.
Great. And remember, everyone, tomorrow at 12 p.m., right, Laura, will be Renat's class, and that will be live streamed in your offices.
Yes.
So pop into your office at 12 p.m. and we will put that on in the training rooms.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be a really great class. If you think of a question between now and then, I'm going to type this in here real quick. I want you to submit it in regards to the new forms. All right. I want you to submit it to this email address. I will get it over to Renat before the class. Please do not send it over at 11:55 and expect me to have her answer that. That's not exactly how it works. I've got to have her make sure that she's done her homework. So if you have a question, please submit it to that. We'll get it over to her, and so she can talk about that during the meeting. All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank
Stay
you.
healthy and safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you. Bye-bye.